All right, we got some news and rumors here on an NFL Friday, just over 2 weeks away from the start of free agency. Welcome into For Verts. My name is Harrison Graham with the NFL Combine looming next week. This buzz around free agency, trades, draft, it's all going to really heat up here, which is why the perfect time to subscribe to this channel is right now. We've been pumping out daily content since about early August here. We're growing like crazy, trying to get to 8,000 subs by the start of the NFL Combine next week. Can we do it? Can we get there? That's our goal. With all your help, we certainly can. If you want free NFL content on a daily basis, all you got to do is hit that subscribe button. Aaron Rodgers talking about his future, at least briefly, as he was working out, and some TMZ cameras caught him and asked him a couple of questions. And the thing that stood out to me was he was basically asked, like, hey, what are you looking for in your next team if you decide to play next season? And he just said, if they got a good team. And that kind of sounds obvious. No one wants to play for a bad team. But I think he kind of looks at how the last couple of years have gone and the mess that are the New York Jets. And he's like, if I'm going to keep playing at 41 years old, I don't want to just drag through these seasons and win 5, 6, 7 games. I at least want to have a chance to contend for at least a playoff spot, even if not a Super Bowl contending team. I don't think Rodgers wants to run out the string for a team that's got no shot in 2025. So to me, that eliminates these 4 teams. I don't think the Giants have a chance to be a high-level winner next year. The Raiders, the Titans have some intriguing talent, but I think they're a year away at least. And the Saints, with their cap situation, I just don't see their path to adding good enough players this offseason to contend next year. So I think those 4 teams get eliminated pretty quickly unless he gets desperate and contending teams aren't interested and he just decides to kind of change his tune on that. To me, 2 teams stand out. The Pittsburgh Steelers, who I predicted is where Rodgers would sign in our NFL quarterback carousel video. Go check it out. Subscribe, content tab. It's a few videos down. And then the Los Angeles Rams. Now, obviously right now, the Rams have Matthew Stafford, and if they keep him, that's A, what they should do, and B, still a very good likelihood that that would happen. But if they decide they don't want to give him a huge amount of guaranteed money on a 2-year deal or something like that, and they decide to trade him, they could certainly sign Rodgers to a 1 to 2 year deal. So Rams, that's kind of a TBD wait and see. I think the Steelers, for both sides, make a lot of sense. And I'm kind of one of those glass empty is what I was going to say. What I meant to say is glass half empty guys when it comes to Aaron Rodgers. But even I can say, okay, he played pretty well down the stretch, at least statistically. The Steelers have not had good QB situations. It was a little better this year with the Fields-Russ combo. But if Rodgers is right, I still think he's a better option than what they had last year. And they're picking 21st in the draft. What better option does Pittsburgh have unless they can trade for Matt Stafford? I think it makes sense for both sides on a 1 or 2 year deal. Tomlin and Rodgers have often spoken highly of one another. George Pickens fits Rodgers' skill set as kind of a boundary back shoulder type of receiver. Devontae Adams would probably follow him to Pittsburgh. He likes Mike Tomlin a lot too. He's on the record for that. So that becomes an intriguing 1-2 punch with Adams and Pickens. I think Pittsburgh makes the most sense. I don't know, 2 years, $30 million, 20 guaranteed. Maybe it's a little more, but if I'm Rodgers and I'm going to keep playing, I'm not chasing the money, and I'm not doing it for a bad team. Pittsburgh has been dragging these teams to the playoffs with bad QB situations for most years. Rodgers, even if he's just league average, is probably better than what they've had. So I think that is the direction that I could see that going. If you had to predict where will Aaron Rodgers play in 2025, or if you think he's going to retire, just type retire down in the comment section below. I'm going to maintain the Steelers. If the Rams trade Stafford, I think that becomes very appealing for Rodgers, though, given offensive coach with McVay, and Rodgers is a West Coast guy. It's where he spent most of his young childhood life and early adult life as well. Okay, Deebo Samuel, what is the latest there as the Niners agreed to let him and his agent seek a trade partner? Jeremy Fowler saying several teams have shown interest in Deebo. Here's a little snippet from him on NFL Live saying, quote, I was told that several teams have expressed interest, so at least preliminary talks on a potential trade have happened between Samuel, his agent, and the team. And the reason this trade is more likely compared to like a Cooper Kupp, where teams would have to eat $20 million in cap this year. The way Deebo's contract is structured, a team trading for him only takes on a couple $1,000,000. Now, you'd probably have to extend him and give him, I don't know, $12 million a year or something like that. But it's minimal money in 2025. For the Niners, his cap hit actually goes up if it's a pre-June 1 trade. But if they get a middle-round draft pick, they might be willing to do it. I think there's several teams that could make sense to bring in Deebo. The Patriots just need playmakers. Steelers, once again, if they don't get the Rodgers-Adams combo, Deebo could kind of be a do-it-all a guy next to George Pickens. The Commanders could add a piece. You got the familiarity with Mike McDaniel in Miami. The Giants could use a different type of receiver next to Malik Neighbors. Broncos, Sean Payton likes those kind of players who can do different things. The Raiders, the Chargers, two teams that could certainly use a receiver as well. So I do think teams will be interested. I do think Deebo will have a trade market given that teams don't have to take on that much money. I just wonder what is like the line of draft pick that the Niners are willing to take? Because if it's like a 6th-round pick is the best offer, I'd probably just post-June 1 cut him and save more money post-June 1st than just trade him for nothing, basically, and take on more money. Because right now it's a $17 million cap hit, and if they trade or cut him pre-June 1, it's $31 million. So if they post-June 1 cut him, they save $5 million. So I think it'll depend on the type of draft pick offer they get. So teams might have to offer, a 4th instead of like a 6th to get him. Okay, real quick on Travis Kelce. Diana Rossini reporting that from what she's hearing, he's leaning towards returning in 2025. And, I've kind of gone back and forth on this. I see both sides of the argument. He's clearly not peak form anymore. But I still think, once a month, once every 6 weeks, he can give you a big game, and throughout the course of a season, he can still have moments and help you. And obviously, as a leader, there's value there. And I could see Kelce saying, God, do I really want to go out in that just embarrassing performance in the Super Bowl? He's a competitor, certainly. But I also see the side of, like, do these guys who have been stars most of their lives, like, is he willing to be a role player? Like, does he want to do that? Because I think if he's back next year, yeah, sure, maybe he's a starter, but, like, they've already been lessening his snaps. He's probably playing, like, half the snaps. Now, hey, he still makes decent money. He's still a guy in the red zone that can be effective. He could still work the middle of the field, be a safety valve for Mahomes. It's not like he's completely washed. I mean, he did have 100 yards in the divisional round game against the Texans. He still has his moments. You're just not getting that week in, week out, 8 catches for 100 yards. Like, those days are over. Can he do that 3 times a season, 4, and give you a good playoff game? Yeah, that's possible. I think it's all about, like, team recognition for the Chiefs and, like, role expectation. Like, hey, this is our plan for you. We're going to kind of limit your workload, and, other tight ends are going to be more involved than they have been. So if he wants to do that and wants to come back in that type of setup, I think it still makes sense. I still think there's value from the Chiefs side to bring him back. I certainly don't think they would cut him if he decided to play in 2025. I think he'd be on the team. But, it'll be interesting to see how this plays out. There was another report that they've given him till just about the start of free agency to make a decision. So we'll see if that deadline is met or not, but certainly keep on top of this storyline as the next couple of weeks play out. All right, what say you? Should Travis Kelce come back in 2025? Type Y for yes, type in for no. Had they beaten the Eagles, I think it'd be an easy decision to retire 3 straight, go out on top. But I could see him running it back and trying to get back to the mountaintop one more time. All right, that's going to do it for this edition of For Verts. We'll continue to pump out the NFL content here on a daily basis throughout this off season. My name is Harrison Graham. See you guys soon.